When a president takes office, talk usually centers on the first 100 days. In Donald Trump's case, it has been fast and furious since day one. Here's CBN's David Brody.
So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
And with that, the flurry of activity began and has not slowed down. What a difference. In Trump's first term, he signed 33 executive orders during his first 100 days. Now, in less than a month, he signed 59 as of the beginning of this week. It'll go up from here. Corey Lewandowski served as Trump's 2016 campaign manager.
And the luxury of a second term is you don't have to run for re-election. You can just go in all in with your ideas.
The president also has more momentum this time around. In 2016, his victory came as a bit of a shock. By winning the popular vote in 2024, he now has more of a mandate. 8 years ago, only 49% approved of his inaugural address. This time, that jumped to 62%. He also has a more supportive GOP in Congress that is wary of crossing him. Case in point, certain cabinet choices labeled controversial are making their way through the confirmation process. And then there's this difference. Those closest to him this time around are completely different.
The big difference, David, is surrounding himself with people who actually have the same philosophy this time, unlike in Trump 1.0, who look good but should never have been there.
So gone are establishment types like former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Defense Secretary General James Mattis, and Chief of Staff John Kelly. Replacing them are loyalists, disruptors, and friends like very disciplined new Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. Joining her are like-minded cabinet members such as Attorney General Pam Bondi, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Head of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, just to name a few. A much more organized operation planned over the last 4 years. Tony Kinnett is with the Daily Signal.
There's nothing that bothers him at this point. There's nothing that he's worried about as far as electability. He's not looking towards things that he thinks are going to be that hampered him in his first administration. He spent the last 2 years, I know, working through every single detailed plan with those that he was looking to bring into this next administration. 2 years, you can get a lot of planning done.
Candidly, David, if we would have had 8 years in a row, we wouldn't have been as successful as we're going to be with the 4-year break in between, because we had the chance to plot.
The biggest difference so far is the speed in delivering on campaign priorities, such as targeting the federal bureaucracy. In his first term, the executive order making it easier to fire certain federal employees didn't happen until just before the 2020 election. This time, however, that order came on day one, and it had a much broader scope. From deportations to tariffs to banning men and women's sports, he seems more results-oriented and faster. Some say this focus could be due to surviving an assassin's bullet. It has clearly affected his outlook.
I think it did. I also think the weight of the office is different when you've been in it and you've left and you've come back to it. What he is embarking on for the next 4 years will fundamentally, historically, and profoundly change this country forever.
That is certainly Trump's goal, and unless Congress or the courts get in his way, it could happen with lightning speed.
All right, he's our CBN News chief political analyst, David Brody. He joins us now. David, yesterday, the president signed an executive order downsizing the federal workforce and limiting new hires, and he's come under fire for moving too aggressively to cut government spending. How does the administration respond to all this criticism?
They say they have the people's backing. I mean, it's just that simple. They go to the word mandate. As a matter of fact, it's something Elon Musk talked about inside the Oval Office with President Trump yesterday in front of reporters. Here's Elon Musk. Take a look.
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform.
So, Andrew, the bottom line and the crux of the issue here is that you have unelected bureaucrats, what Elon Musk calls the fourth branch of government, running things. And everybody says, well, how are they running things? Well, Congress appropriates the money, but the civil servants carry it out because the mandate for that money is very vague. And that's why the chief executive, President Trump, is coming in tasking Elon Musk with going through all of this, and also from an efficiency standpoint. And that's kind of the crux of what's happening.
It is such a different administration from the first time. There's Elon Musk, little boy on the floor. He's wearing a winter coat and a baseball hat in the White House. It's so different. So far, most of these changes have come by executive orders, as your piece talked about. So how difficult is it going to be when it comes to working with Congress to actually pass a legislative agenda?
Well, it's a great question because, look, a lot of folks in MAGA are like, wow, we're in the candy store. Look at things going on left and right, actually mostly right. But they're loving it for now. But you're right. Executive orders will transpire or will, end at the end of 4 years. So then the question is, what is Congress going to actually codify into law? That is much more difficult. The answer, though, Andrew, is that budget reconciliation bill we hear about. So what does that really mean in kind of layman's terms? It's a hodgepodge of about everything. So whether it be energy, whether it be immigration, those type of issues specifically, they're going to try, the administration is going to try to codify into law some of these executive orders within the budget reconciliation process. And also remember, as it relates to no men and women's sports, there is already House legislation that has passed. We're waiting for the Senate to take that bill up any week or day now. So that could be codified into law. So there's certain parts of this that will go forward.
What do you think of the lightning speed of all he's done? If you're a Democrat serving in office or just someone who didn't vote for President Trump and you see all these initiatives and then you hear he's, talking about paper straws and pennies and the Gulf of America, he is everywhere and talking about everything. How are they reacting to the speed at which he is moving things?
Well, it's a great question. It's just the way, of course, Trump likes it. The Democrats are in a pickle, as my dad would say back in the day, because they don't control any of the levers of power of government right now. But beyond all of that, they're going after Trump and Musk, and they're making it personal. And that just hasn't worked. It didn't work in 2024. Trump is back in the White House. And the part of the problem here is that you basically have an untenable position if you're a Democrat. You're basically saying, yeah, keep the government waste going. Don't worry about efficiency. We want business as usual. The American people don't want business as usual. Now, Trump is taking it to extremes, but the bottom line is that's what the people want. And Democrats are making this personal against Trump and Musk, and I'm not quite sure if that's the winning ticket.
One more question. You alluded to it in your story. He survived that assassination attempt by a couple of inches, right, at most. Do you think that plays a significant role, not just the 2 years of planning, for an administration, but did that survival, the attempt on his life, play a pivotal role in the speed and boldness in which he's moving now?
I think it's two things. I think, one, it's the assassination attempt, and two, they had 4 years to literally, I'll use this word, kind of plot strategy, if you will. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine, Andrew, as you know, and a lot of people are going to say it's haphazard, it's been wild. They have a plan. They've had a plan since day one. They've been plotting what they're going to do. Day 1, day 2, day 18, day 43. They know what they want to do. And now executive orders at the White House have been commonplace. It's like 3 p.m. Eastern every time there's executive orders. It's like story time in America. It's just been wild.
All right, David, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
We get it. Your life is crazy right now. You've got a lot going on. So who has time to change the world? Well, guess what? You do. When you become a CBN partner, you make an impact on lives all around the world. For just $20 a month, you help provide safe water, good food for hungry tummies, life-changing surgeries, and a helping hand to someone in need. You're helping to preach the gospel all across the globe. You're sharing the love of Jesus and building the kingdom of God right from your living room, or your car, or from work, or wherever you are. It's a big impact for just $20 a month. That's about the price of 4 lattes, or 3 if you're really fancy. It's easy to sign up. Just go to CBN.com or call us at 1-800-700-7000. Become a CBN partner today and start changing the world.